Hey guys, this is Vaul, bringing you another audio commentary, and I'm finally back doing first-person videos. I've tweaked some settings on gun cam on my computer, and I've actually achieved a higher resolution, so hopefully you guys will stop complaining about the video quality. I know it was bad, and those complaints were warranted, but I just haven't been able to figure out how to fix it until now, so things are hopefully looking a lot better. I hope you guys enjoy the videos a little bit more as a result. Now, I am playing Terran, as I always do, on Iccup for this game against another Terran player. The map is Athena. It's one of the newer Korean Pro League maps. Actually, I think this one's being used for the MSL at the moment. It's a pretty good map. It's a three-player map. It's got nice green scenery. Not my favourite tile set, but it still looks alright. They've used some nice shades in the middle of the map. And yeah, it's a three-player map, so I am down at the 6 o'clock position, possibly the 5:30, and there is one spawn location up at the 2 o'clock and another at the 10 o'clock. So I'll be scouting them shortly. Anyway, time for the first supply depot at 9 supply, of course. Now, I've been playing a bit of Terran versus Terran lately. It's one of my, I think it's probably my best matchup at the moment, unless TvP is. It's definitely not TvZ, because I'm not so good against the Zerg. But I really enjoy Terran vs. Terran. Not a lot of people do like the matchup. I know a lot of people that really despise it and just like watching it and find it boring. But I think it's really cool. It's a matchup where you can use a lot of different openings. It's very strategic. It's obviously balanced because both of you are the same races. And I'm just heading my SCV up to the 2 o'clock position there to just check it out, see if there are any enemy units there. Now, as for scouting, a lot of people just wait until after the barracks is completed to scout, and that's fair enough because in Terran vs. Terran you're not usually in that much danger of a rush, but one reason I scout after the supply depot doing this particular build is because I really like to find out whether my opponent is going for a quick command center, like a 13 supply command center before barracks. And just otherwise just get an SCV in the base and get a general picture of what's going on. And this particular build, my plan is to build 3 or 4 Marines first, while taking a couple of SCVs off gas after I've completed my factory, and then making a vulture and then expanding fast, really quick. And it's quite a popular opening these days in Terran vs. Terran, and the reason why is that you can put a lot of pressure on your opponent early while getting expansion as quick as possible, and obviously having those units to go out and put pressure on your opponent gives you some scouting ability as well. So we'll see how this one turns out. It apparently can be countered quite easily by a 2-factory vulture push, and obviously if you've gone command center first, then your command center is ahead of the person that went with the 3 Marine vulture build, and you've got a bunker there to prevent it. So that's 2 basic ways of stopping this. Another thing about this build is that you can, instead of building the command center, just fake that and build 2 starports instead and really go all out wraiths. Another variation of that is just to build 1 starport and then get the command center and continue to put pressure on, as well as getting the command center fairly early. And yeah, this is why I'm practicing this build at the moment. It's very flexible. Anyway, I've got an SCV into my opponent's base. It has made it there. The Marine's about to pick it off, but I have seen him build a factory. I know that he's not going to go for a fast command center, and I'm getting Marines of my own. Factory's nearly completed there, just rallying the barracks over the ramp, get ready to go. I've taken SCVs off gas, so I'm saving up minerals for that second command center right now. And I'll get that done. I'll get that building as soon as my forces have left the base and I've got enough minerals for it. 3rd supply depot going down, of course, don't want to forget that. Alright, and opponent's SCV's finally shown up, and this is what I mean about scouting early. If you don't scout that early against another Terran player, these days most people get a couple of Marines to get rid of the scout, and he won't know that I'm skipping some gas and not putting an add-on there, so sorry, he won't know that stuff, and I'm able to move out with a few Marines and a vulture without him really being prepared for it. Hopefully, we'll see what he's got. 3 Marines at this point, ready to go. Just sending the Marines out a little bit earlier than the vulture because they're much slower. In fact, I should have set them running already. They shouldn't have been camping there. And got enough minerals for that command center already, so the command center goes down. At this point, I can put the SCVs back on gas if I remember to do that, and get a factory shop ready for that tank. Alright, and then after your command center is completed, obviously you can go for more factories or go straight into starports or whatever. I'm not sure, I can't remember what I did this game. I'm just commentating it after I actually played, obviously. Didn't play this and commentate at the same time. Lifting off the barracks to send it over, it's a good mechanism for scouting mid-game, to find out how many factories your opponent's got, whether he's got that many starports or anything. and just getting my forces ready to move up this ramp. Hopefully there's not going to be a huge greeting of like 5 Marines waiting for me. Only 2 Marines, so I'm fine to move up the ramp. This is actually quite a good situation for me. Picking off the Marines straight away, microing the Vulture away. Unfortunately, the Vulture took some tank hits, and just going to get the Marines to distract the tank while my Vulture comes around the back and hopefully gets a couple of kills on SCVs there. In the meantime, oh crap, my Vulture just died. Just got taken out by either a tank shot or a couple of SCVs attacking it. Already lost a lot of health, but Marines can distract the SCVs for a while and slow my opponent's economy. I'm really happy about seeing my opponent go for that particular build. He's gone for 2 quick factories, because that means my command center will be way ahead of his. And still the Marine distracting the SCVs. Finally the tank comes out to kill him, so no more of that. At this point in time, I want to be prepared for him just moving up with a bunch of tanks and sieging me straight away. That's a possibility, but my tanks will be in position before he can arrive and will have siege mode, so that's not going to be too much of a problem. So what I want to do now is just increase my factory count. I've got a second one going down there, get another gas geyser, and once I've got 2 gas, he'll only be on 1, and I'll have a lot more ground units than him. So we'll see how that goes. Got the barracks just heading over to his base now. I've only got the single tank out there, so just a bit worried he's going to push in with a number of tanks, although he might hope, I mean, if he's a good player, he'll come down and put some pressure on me. If he's not such a good player, he might be a bit defensive. Oh, that was his plan. He's got a Wraith. My barracks has fortunately seen that. That's a good thing about having the barracks there. So immediately I'm just putting down a engineering bay and armory. I know because he went 2 factories first and then 1 Wraith, it's going to take him a while to get any kind of cloaking, so I'm not going to bother with the academy just yet. I just want to, first of all, get armory up so I can get a couple of Goliaths to snipe it, and if he sends down more Wraiths to take out my SCVs constantly building the armory, then I obviously try and complete the engineering bay. It's good to have 2 sources to take care of Wraiths if you know you're going to be put under a lot of pressure by them. At this point, I'm just trying to microwave the SCV, just send away the one being attacked by the Wraith, then put it back to minerals, and bringing a fresh SCV out to complete the buildings. That way, just distract the Wraith long enough to complete the buildings necessary to actually get rid of it. In the meantime, I'm trying to build units, so a few different things going on here, trying to keep up with it. I'm not exactly the most accomplished player when it comes to doing a lot of multitasking. I'm a bit sloppy sometimes, but I have completed the engineering bay. Just putting down a single turret next to each command center to limit the number of places the Wraith can attack. In the meantime, just building Goliath, so that will usher the Wraith away until he gets cloaking, but I think cloaking will be a while off given the fact that he's gone for 2 factories fast. I'm really surprised that he hasn't come down with a bunch of tanks, because that's really what the 2 factory build is all about. Just putting a lot of pressure on your opponent at this point in the game when they've just expanded, but he hasn't taken advantage of that, and now I have expanded. I've got 3 factories going down, and yeah, that will be enough to put me ahead. So got some tanks ready to push out because he hasn't actually attacked, so I'm going to push out a bit first. But what I want to do is send an SCV in front of them, because I don't want the tanks to run into a bunch of siege tanks of his. So sending the SCV out first is just like a kind of test, a little bit of a decoy. And my barracks has arrived in his the back of his base, has seen that control tower on the starport, so that will mean probably dropships he's heading into. I can't see any cloak upgrading unless he's already got it. Just continuing to build CVs. I forgot to build supply depots. You don't want to do that in StarCraft, but it happens to the best of us, and it happens to the worst of us, including me. And my tanks have arrived outside his base, so for some reason he's just really turtled. He's kept his tanks inside of his base, and is not really putting the pressure on. Maybe he's got an expansion somewhere. That's the next thing I want to take a look for. Just head the SCV around the back just to see if he's gone for a quick 3rd base to keep up with my quick expansion. That might explain his reasons for not being offensive here and trying to turtle in. But I'm just going to punish him for that by sieging up some tanks next to his expansion and start shelling. This is going to force him to either lift off or run all his SCVs away or something like that, or commit a lot of forces really quickly. Oh, here's his contract. He had actually built dropships and attacking at the back of my base, so different, yeah, this is a bit of a pain for me because I haven't got any troops back at base. I'm going to have to use SCVs to try and hurt these tanks. Unfortunately, that's sieging up, so my SCV isn't going to do too good, but because they're sieging up, my siege tank, my single sieged tank, will be able to do some damage. Just trying to get a 3rd base for myself while all this is happening. I know that I'm inflicting some damage on his natural, so things aren't too bad for me here, and he's lifting off again. I guess he didn't really want to siege up and get taken out by the SCVs. and because of that, he was being shot by my tanks. But luckily, reinforcements have arrived. I've got 3 more tanks arriving just in the nick of time to actually get rid of his drop there. So, feeling very safe at this point. I haven't found his expansion at the 12 o'clock. That's where I thought he'd be likely to expand. It's very far away from my base location. I'll be checking some other locations shortly. Building a missile turret there so that I'll know when he